breaking free. Yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression. It's out for liberty. Breaking free. Yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts. We're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. They try to silence us, but we won't be tamed. Voices getting louder, can't keep us in chains. We got the power, we got the might. Together we can shine, together we can fight. Feel the rhythm in your feet, it's time to stand tall. Raise your voice and shout, we're breaking down the walls. We're breaking free, yeah, we're breaking free. No more oppression, it's out for liberty. Breaking free, yeah, we're taking a stand. Freedom's in our hearts, we're reclaiming our land. We're claiming our land.
I hate this show. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. What is up, you all? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another fun Friday here on Are You Smarter Than a Politician? Add this to the stage here. So you can get us on YouTube as well and as Rumble at those addresses. Just look for the username Freedom Uncut. Joining us today is Aaron Day. Aaron, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Introduce yourself to our audience, please.
I'm a serial entrepreneur turned liberty activist, and I have spent the last 3 years trying to warn people about what I think is the biggest single threat to human liberty, which is central bank digital currencies, or more specifically, money that can be digital money that can be programmed, tracked, and censored and controlled by the government, which is the situation that we're in right now. I've also been advocating for our crypto prisoners of war like Roger Ver, Ian Freeman, and Roman Storm. I run an organization called the Daylight Freedom Foundation, and I'm a fellow at the Brownstone Institute. And one other quick thing is I actually ran for president as a Republican in 2024, not to win, but specifically to raise awareness around this issue of the threat of CBDCs.
Excellent. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Also joining us is Joël Valenzuela. Joel, how are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. How are you guys?
Doing really well. Introduce yourself to everybody for us.
Yeah, so hey everyone, my name is Joel, and I've been a liberty and crypto advocate for a very long time. I've been living entirely off of crypto for almost 10 years now, about 9 of it unbanked so far, and I really care about the advancement of human freedom in every effective way possible. And I think the most effective way is to get us off of centralized technology, especially centralized financial technology. So kind of live this experiment trying to do that as much as I can in my life so I can better inform the rest of the world what works and what doesn't, and kind of do that. So yeah, I'm an independent content creator, etc. And my day job is I work for the Dash cryptocurrency full time.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us. And returning, my friend, Zak Kisor. How are you tonight, Zak?
I'm doing all right, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for coming back. Always fun to have.
Hey, anytime. Thank you for last week, by the way. Free.
My pleasure. That was a good time.
That was a good time. So I'm Zak, aka Casper I'm gonna get it in, but for all of you, aka Casper. I'm just your neighborhood friendly agorist, so I can't beat these guys. I just run a podcast and I just chill and yell at the world with my buddy Andrew, and we just talk about anything that's decentralizing. It could be crypto, it could be gold. I don't care, man. If you find a way to use herds to free yourself economically, do it. Just free yourself. Just divorce. Free yourself from the system.
I was told that if you came back on in July, you would not be whiter than the wall behind you. I feel like I was lied to.
You were lied to. Yeah, my fair skin just won't. I'm getting a little bit, but I mean, I try. I'm not even gonna try anymore.
For those of you that have joined us before, one of our favorite jokes is that Zach is transparent, and yeah, so we go with that a lot. But thanks for doing this again.
My pleasure.
Please share this out, everybody. We'd love to see how many we can get this message out to. It's one of the most important shows we'll ever do, especially with everything that's going on this week. If someone were to win tonight, they would get the Ron Paul holding the Ron Paul trophy, as well as the Ron Paul bobblehead and the Murray Rothbard bobblehead, Mike Johnson's signature cologne, Swamp Ass, as well as the Ayn Rand Fountainhead teddy bear. And obviously, always the Lego Killdozer, because we like to talk about the Killdozer here. So the rules are, I am the government. Whatever I say goes. Scoring errors count. Life isn't fair. Suck it up, Buttercup. Nobody cares. Rules are, you can debate each other. You can veto someone else's answer. You can tariff their points. You can redistribute their answer. And everybody starts off with negative 500 points because, as you know, the government gets paid first. Scoring is very interesting if you haven't joined us before. The chat controls the score. So in the chat, you can give or take away up to 100 points from the contestants. You can have a good reason. You can have a bad reason. You can have no reason at all. But feel free to jump in and share your opinion and rock the scores. All right, let's real quick before we get started here, let's jump into the chat. Chris, the Freedom Coach, is here. Welcome, Chris. Kilburn's here. Thanks for reposting, Kilburn. Cy reposted. Thanks, buddy. Shirley's here in the middle of the night in Britain. Thank you, Shirley. Oh, there's Joel. And Joel's using the Ryan Woodcraft trick of jumping into the chat himself. So Ryan Woodcraft likes to do it with an alias and try to give himself points. But
who says I'm not doing that too?
Yeah, who knows? It's decentralized scoring, so it's pretty fluid. Casey's here. What's up, Casey? OB, how are you? We've got some points already. Scientific, 100 to Aaron if he has a boombox to match his outfit. Okay. That's a little taste of how the scoring works. Now you lost 100 for the red sunglasses.
That's how it works.
Minus 100 to Aaron for having 3 of the same books on his bookshelf. Reverse red light district to Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, in all fairness, I wrote the book, but hopefully that helps. But we'll see.
Hopefully that doesn't help. Can you imagine if I had like my own self on the like a selfies of myself all framed on my shelf? That would be a little weird.
Minus 100 to everyone with a hijacking Bitcoin book.
We found the statist.
This looks like the hotel lobby where newly divorced dads go. 100 points to Terry. Okay. Mark's here. Welcome, Mark. Plus 100 to Zach for knowing he just can't win. That's very fair.
Giving him, make him think there's a chance.
Yeah, the pity points might be your way to go, Zach. Minus 100 to Zach because he's white. There we go.
Man,
we knew it was coming. Now you're clear. 100 points for being clear. Itches says happy Friday. Welcome, Itches. Mike's here. Welcome, Mike. Scientific minus 100 to Zach for running out of consonants when he was being named. Chris is here. Welcome, Chris. Nick's only here to for the chat comments from Scientific. That's fair. Jim Bob's here. Welcome, Jim Bob. Minus 100 to Zach because Zach. Yep. So that's fair. Excellent. So I was saying when we started this, it might be one of the most important shows we've ever done. Welcome to Are You Smarter Than a Politician? We're the game show where we put ideologies to the test, expose bad policies, and champion bold new ideas for a freer future. So today's topic is crypto and decentralized finance, which I think is the future of freedom. So if you're thinking right now, this isn't for me, let me stop you right there. Whether you're a college student, a small business owner, a retiree, a stay-at-home parent, your money, your privacy, and your power are all on the line currently in Congress. Congress is moving fast with the Genius Act, the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act. They're all being voted on right now in Congress. So we're at the crossroads. Will we decentralize and be free, or will we be digitally shackled? So time is running out. Now is the time to get educated and organized. So in this episode, we're going to uncover how decentralized finance can break the monopoly of the central banks, protect you from government surveillance, and empower communities to build real financial independence. So get ready, because tonight you decide who is smarter than a politician. All right. So with that, let's jump into it. Oh, and Terry, I didn't even say hi to Terry. Terry's back there. I'm just screwing everything up.
That's negative 500 points.
Negative points to me.
The government.
Yeah. You can follow Terry at she doesn't have her handle up, but I'll put that slide up too. She's back controlling the scoring and handling the chat, so she does all the important stuff while I sit here and talk. So thank you, Terry. I will put you back in the back and make her life hard in the chat, please. All right, back to it. Lightning round. Let me put you in the order I have these in. All right. Aaron, to you. The category is crypto in everyday life. Is crypto safer than giving your credit card number online?
Well, it actually depends on the crypto, but in general, yes, it is. But there are certain cases where crypto can be centrally programmed and can be hacked. But the cryptos that I recommend that people use, privacy coins, are very much safer than credit cards.
All right. Sorry, did I do that? I don't know. They changed the interface. I've been breaking everything. So, all right.
Hey,
Joel, to you. Are retailers being discouraged from accepting crypto?
Follow-up question. By whom?
By the government, by the big banks, by anybody, really.
By their accountants sometimes, because their accountants are really just don't want anything different, like having to mark something different on forms. But for the most part, it's kind of neutral. The biggest discouragement is that they don't have a lot of customers actually trying to pay in crypto, and they don't have the tools that are just built in to do it. But everyone I've talked to who seems open to it haven't had active discouragement, other than their grumpy old accountants saying, that's going to make my job that I get paid for harder.
Okay. Zach, to you. Is using crypto at the farmer's market better for communities than using cash?
It can be. Cash, though, somewhat anonymous. It's worthless. Crypto on the farmer's market, it'd be a little bit safer. It's there. This transparency of it with the blockchain. But yeah, I would definitely want to promote farmers markets to try to get into the crypto game.
Excellent.
Actually, just as a matter of, can we jump in here, or is the lightning round no?
Go for it. Jump in.
I would add one thing to this. I mean, if you're using cash, then you're supporting U.S. government policy around the world, and you're buying into the trillion. We've spent $1 trillion already this year on the military. So if you're using cash, you are supporting U.S. government policy. So Joel actually started living on crypto far before me. I've been living on crypto and gold and silver since 2019, and he was like 4 years before that. But part of it is money is a representation of your energy, and so I like to put my energy towards the things that I want to see in the world. And one of the things I don't want to see is U.S. policy, particularly foreign policy, but also domestic policy. So that's what happens when you use cash.
Well, and you're supporting bombing children too when you continue using fiat.
Bombing children, families, hospitals, churches, pretty much everything. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Kilburn gave 100 to Aaron for knowing how to write a book. That's good. Rose is here. Welcome, Rose. Minus 100 for Zach for having less than 12 items of flair. That's fair.
I'm doing you proud, Mike.
Kat's here. Welcome. 100 to Aaron. Well said. 100 to Lynx for looking like Paul Rudd.
Not really, but I'll take that's a compliment. He looks better than I do.
100 to Aaron for decoupling from US. 100 to Aaron for helping me understand how to use cash, how using cash supports the government and the bad government ideas. Yep. Perfect. All right, Aaron, to you. Is crypto adoption being sabotaged by red tape?
Absolutely. I mean, crypto adoption, particularly under Biden, but actually also under Trump, but in completely different ways. But Biden waged a complete war on crypto. He signed an executive order in 2022. And what that executive order did was it authorized the U.S. to officially pursue a CBDC, which, by the way, the U.S. has been working on a CBDC since 2018, but that formalized it from the perspective of the executive branch. But it also authorized a complete crackdown on crypto by all branches of the federal government. So the Treasury Department, the IRS, the SEC. I mean, it was a full court press, and there are still many political prisoners that are still either in prison, like Ian Freeman, who is in federal prison for 8 years for basically selling Bitcoin without a license. Roger Ver, I'm wearing the Free Roger shirt right now. He's facing 109 years, which is essentially a life sentence for fabricated tax charges. Roman Storm, who's currently in New York, and he is facing up to 45 years in prison. His trial started last week, and essentially for developing code that protects people's privacy. So the red tape is beyond. I mean, those are actually the most egregious examples, but you can go beyond this. Most people in crypto have been debanked at one point or another, don't have access to general banking services. And so it has been incredibly difficult. And you also have to comply with all of these banking rules and regulations, which I won't take too much time on this. I know this is a lightning round, but a lot of people aren't aware that our current financial system is very tightly monitored. Congress has passed a number of laws starting in 1970 with something called the Bank Secrecy Act. And then we have the Patriot Act and we have the CARES Act and all this other legislation where now there's know your customer, anti-money laundering laws. So you have to fill out all this paperwork when you set up a bank account. Now you have to provide your ID. You may have to provide a picture, biometric information. And so, Congress has made this incredibly difficult in general. And there's all this tracking that's going on with the dollar. And then all of that is now being applied to cryptocurrency as well. So the red tape is a real issue. If you want it to be an issue, my approach is use privacy coins and just kind of ignore it. But if you're trying to, work through the proper channels, it's incredibly difficult to use crypto.
All right. Joel, to you. Could small businesses survive better if they accepted crypto?
So I'll say definitely yes. In the short term, it can offer some extra customers. In the medium term, they're going to be poised for the growing early mass adoption cycle in a few years, and they'll be kind of ahead of the curve on that. But long term, they'll know how to accept money that can't necessarily be censored or is very difficult to censor, where the rest of the financial system is so like under lock and key that it's kind of like crypto's the new cash drawer, right, for businesses. And every business that can do under the table can do cash only kind of thing. If they could figure out how to do that with crypto, that's like the new cash.
Great point. Zach, to you. Is crypto a better gift for teenagers than a gift card?
Yes. I'm just going to say yes. Not even going to explain it. Just yes.
Okay. All right, Aaron, to you. Can crypto protect you from rising prices in your local economy?
Once again, it depends on the crypto, so you actually have to do your research on this, but it absolutely can. The dollar has lost something like 99% of its purchasing power since 1913 when the Federal Reserve was created. The dollar's actually lost 11% of its value this year, 30% since COVID. So if you want to look at this, I mean, I think a house cost something like $4,000 in 1960, and now the average house costs $400,000. And so the dollar and all fiat currencies kind of suffer the same fate where they ultimately all fail and they kind of dwindle to zero. So if you get the right cryptocurrency, it's a great hedge against what we know is inflation and buying power that just evaporates with fiat currency in the dollar.
Great. Joel, to you. Would crypto eliminate the need for banks in everyday purchases?
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't used a bank in 9 years now, a little over 9 years. So it could, yes, if kind of a dumb putz like me could figure this out like 9 years ago. It's getting easier every day. I think for sure.
What does that look like?
Looks like freedom, baby.
No, but how do you do it?
Okay, well, I thought this was lightning round. All right, we'll do slow round then. Basically, you just like if you get paid in cash or something like that, you can be paid directly in crypto. And then once you have crypto, if you know merchants or people like that you need to pay around you that want to take it directly, it's just as easy as that. There are a few companies that do bill pay services where, say you have like a mortgage that you got before you got rid of your fiat in your bank, you could then just pay it in crypto and they pay it on your behalf. There's a few different services in case one decides to like bug you. And then there's a bunch of other little workarounds, like you can buy an instant gift card. Like if I go to a Home Depot and I want to buy like $88.77 worth of stuff, I can go right to the thing, buy $88.77 of a gift card, turn around my phone, they scan the barcode, and there you go. They don't even know I use crypto. And there's a bunch of other things happening like that. It's getting easier by the day for sure.
Awesome.
Nice.
I thought that would be good to know because I didn't know that like you could really do that until recently. So that's an interesting one.
I'll be happy to show anyone else, and obviously harass me here on X, etc.
Excellent. All right, Zach, to you. Is crypto better than Venmo or Cash App for peer-to-peer payments?
Yes, because of the again, the private, especially within the privacy realm, but the privacy, faster transaction, and the transparency on the blockchain. You know, point one A to point B has it Zoom. Whereas with Venmo, you're gonna have to make sure you have your cash reset to the account.
Excellent. All right, let's check the chat's going crazy here. So let's check the chat here. We're over 1,000, so people keep sharing it out. Let's see how many people we can enlighten tonight. It just says 500 to Aaron for not using U.S. fiat currency. Mark says 100 to Joel for using only Bitcoin. Chris, 100 to Aaron for helping me understand how to use cat. I did that one, I think. Zach, are you giving yourself points or are you just making comments? Genius Act actually solidifies CBDCs. Yeah.
I'll give myself 1,000 points to me.
Yeah. And we could have you debate Casey because he thought that CBDCs were crushed today, which I think it was when they say they crushed it, they didn't really crush it kind of thing. 100 to Aaron for freeing Ver, Freeman, Roman Storm, etc. 500 to Aaron for use of privacy coins. Minus 100 to Aaron for a 10-minute dialogue in the lightning round. I think I started that, though. That was my fault. 100 to Zach for lessening his exposure. 100 to Zach for a very confident yes answer. Minus 100 to Aaron for looking like the bully in an 80s teen movie.
Could have had Paul Rudd.
Yeah. I should have warned you. Sometimes they pick on things in your room, like books or like not having anything like Zach, like skin tone or any decorations. 159 points to Zach just because I'm not allowed to give over 100 points. That's fair. I heard 97.3% loss, but that was a few years ago. Yeah, I've heard 99% as well. It has gotten worse. It's accelerated since COVID. Hundreds of links for the crypto explanation. Nice
Me,
digital
by the way.
cash network. Yeah, that's your job, and your show is also on the digital cash network as well, right?
Yeah.
I tried to help you with a plug there. That didn't go very well, but
It's fine.
100 to Zach. 100 to Zach for no Venmo. Government checks the Venmo transactions now. Minus 100 to Zach. Crypto is not easier to use. Minus 100 links. The government doesn't want crypto until it can control and regulate it. Jim Bob, 105 times to Aaron for pointing out red tape, stupid laws, and political prisoners. So the chat's active. If you're new to the show, you can jump into the chat on any of these platforms. In X, you actually have to click into the live stream and the chat will show up. So join us in the chat if you want to give scores or make comments. All right, Aaron, back to you. Can crypto protect you during inflation or economic instability?
Yes, again, it depends on the crypto, but I think we kind of addressed this in the last question. But essentially, we are dealing with a continual inflation of the currency. And if you look at the dollar in particular, we now have $37 trillion worth of debt. This is accelerating. They just passed this so-called one big beautiful bill. We're going to add $2.5 trillion a year more to the debt. And so you're going to see the continued devaluation of the dollar. So if you choose wisely and you pick the right crypto, it's a great hedge against inflation.
Great. Joel, to you. Can crypto help eliminate racial or geographic bias in banking access?
Well, it's not going to help Zach be any less white, but other than that, I would say definitely yes. I've definitely sent money to people in Venezuela, across the world, etc. And I am a privileged person in that I chose to get rid of my bank account. I know a few people who were never given that opportunity, who were forcibly debanked. In fact, a friend of mine had to flee cartel violence in the south of Mexico, and I used crypto to buy his plane ticket to get him out of there. And now he's unbanked, living on crypto as well, because it's really hard. He has to stay anonymous to keep his life intact. And so, yeah, I have many such cases. Anyone can start using crypto. There's a reason why Latin America in particular, but also Africa, is starting to really boom with crypto adoption. And it's not because they're the nerdiest people in the world.
That's awesome. Can we get Zach Bronzer using crypto?
Yes.
Yes.
Be up after the show. I'll get you something. The sun is free, though. I'm just saying.
The sun is free, but
Well, aren't they
doesn't-
blocking the
doesn't-
sun and aren't they blocking the sun in the UK now? I think the sun's no longer free there either. All right, Zach, to you. Is crypto the future of small town banking?
I hope I hope crypto is the future, period. And I hope banking is out the window. I'm going to leave it short and sweet.
Okay. I don't know if this was intended for Zach or not, but Aaron posted daylightfreedom.org.
No. Somebody asked the question, what's the easiest way to get started using crypto? So I put that, I do workshops, and then my book actually goes into how to do this as well. But Joel also has a lot of information and resources.
Excellent. That was a suntan joke for Zach too, but it just happened to work. All right, Aaron, to you. Category is financial privacy. Do we have a right to private digital transactions?
Yes, we absolutely have a right. Well, I think we have a natural law right to privacy for financial transactions. And, prior to 1970, there was no invasion into our financial privacy. So we do have that right. I would argue that moral right, but it has certainly been stripped away legally. I would argue we have a constitutional right as well, but I'm sure we'll talk about this later. The Congress has certainly put in place all kinds of laws that strip us of our privacy, and we need to reclaim it immediately.
Joel, to you. Are anti-money laundering laws just surveillance tools?
Yes, absolutely. Surveillance and, more importantly, control. As I'm fond of saying, money laundering is just what they call it when poor people try to achieve financial privacy.
Great point. Zach, to you. Should anonymous crypto wallets be legal?
Define legal. There is no law.
There is no law.
I don't care. Yeah, there really is no law. Period. It's all. I mean, so defining legal. Your crypto wallet is yours, so you should be able to transact in your own way. Have your own freedom to use what you want to use through the means of your own, with the means of your own version of exchange. I mean, if you want to use crypto, great. If you want to use gold, silver, or bottle caps, cool. But should a crypto wallet be legal? Yes.
Okay. Aaron, to you.
Or anonymous.
Crypto and small business. Should local businesses be encouraged to accept crypto?
They should be encouraged to accept crypto, and they should actually jump into it as quickly as possible, because with what's going on with the Genius Act and everything else, again, the dollar's mostly digital, and then it's moving towards a form that's even more programmable. So if you remember what happened with COVID, there was a lot of government policy that favored large multinational corporations. If you were Walmart or Costco or some big box retailer, you did really well. But if you were a small business, you were particularly damaged. And so the worry is, with increasing programmability of digital currency, small businesses really need crypto to make sure that they can continue to operate regardless of what the government may decide to do randomly in a crisis.
Totally agree. Joel, to you. Are small businesses blocked from using blockchain due to red tape?
Yes, I think that there's a challenge in that. First of all, the accounting of volatile assets definitely is a big pain in the butt. The capital gains, losses, accounting, et cetera, just adds a big extra burden on all that. I would say from like accepting as a form of payment, I would say that's the biggest barrier like that. The other big barrier is, of course, the modern business things like your point of sale system, like your Square or your Clover or whatever else, doesn't natively accept it for the most part. And I think those are the biggest barriers.
Thanks. Zach, to you. Should cities offer crypto incentives for crypto startups?
Cities means government.
Should they offer incentives for crypto startups? I had the word crypto twice.
The cities implies government, and government implying in certain incentives for startups is probably not a good thing. Anything with government's not good. So, because then they're picking winners or losers. So I would say get the government out of anything and allow the market to dictate, allow entrepreneurs to dictate how the market reacts, the market being the consumer, the people, and how crypto is going to be utilized in and around your township or your city or wherever you're at.
Great. All right, Aaron. Categories: crypto and national security. Is crypto a national security threat?
I don't think crypto is a national security threat. I think fiat is a national security threat. It's fiat currency and the dollar and all of the fiat currencies that other countries have that's used to fund the military-industrial complex and fund all of these wars. Crypto has the potential to separate money and state. And if you separate money in state, you no longer have the financial resources to go engage in these unnecessary physical and violent conflicts. So I think that crypto is a benefit to security in general, and that fiat is actually what is the threat to national security.
I agree. Joel, to you. Are crypto users wrongly treated as criminals or terrorists?
Absolutely. At least in the past they were, and those who were treated that way are kind of have lingering effects. It's probably, a good Aaron question too, but also On my podcast, I believe at least 4 people who I've had on either are in or have been to prison for crypto related things that should not be crimes, in my opinion. So I know some extremely regular people who just weren't trying to be activists or anything revolutionary, just sold crypto peer to peer in a way that their state government said that was legal, but the federal government decided to throw them in prison and threaten their spouse with prison for just to make an example out of them, to try to cut down on the people actually buying crypto anonymously. So yes, definitely have been treated as criminals and terrorists, and it's time to end that.
Great. Zach, to you. Is the government using national security to seize crypto?
Absolutely. I mean, never let a crisis go unfounded, right? So absolutely, they're using certain crises in order to create certain parameters, such as the Genius Act, to co-opt the crypto market.
All right. Let's jump into the chat here for a minute. Over 1,500 viewers. Please share this out. Jump into the chat if you're joining us. Say hi. We've got 100 to Aaron for citing natural law. Minus 100 to Zach, since that's the longest his beard grows.
Same.
100 to Aaron for natural right of privacy. 100 to Zach for choice. 100 to Zach. Long live House Harkonnen. I don't even know.
Dune reference.
Oh yeah, I like it.
500 to Zach for define legal. 100 to Joel for washing that cash. There we go. 100 to Zach for cities, aka government, and allow the market to dictate. 100 for no government incentives. That's Zach. Minus 100 from links for misspelling dessert. I don't think
one of my accounts on a different social media platform is actually the dessert Linux. So you know, so I do know how to spell dessert.
There we go. 100 to Aaron for using fiat as a controller of military funding. 100 to Zach for going full outlaw.
Because the government sucks.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jim Bob.
100 to Zach for being a national security threat. I'm not endorsing that, but 100 to Zach for being the opposite of Superman. Sun is his weakness.
It is. It really is. Y'all get tans. I go out. I burn.
So you don't know that I
What?
planned to have you in July just to make sure that you knew you still weren't tan. Just I
Yep.
put it on my calendar. So like, when is there sun in the north? July. Let's have Zach back on. All right. Back to it. Aaron, to you. DeFi and economic control. Are elites trying to co-opt crypto for centralized control?
Yes, they absolutely are. And that's actually what's going on with the Trump administration right now. And I know this is lightning round, but this is what's going on with the Genius Act. And if, in particular, there's a group called the PayPal Mafia, a lot of people that were involved with the creation of PayPal. So we're talking about Peter Thiel, Elon Musk. We're talking about our crypto AI czar, David Sachs. These guys are really pulling the strings and actually pushing a lot of the crypto policy that's going on within the Trump administration. It's not Trump himself that's coming up with this. So they are ultimately going to be the big beneficiaries of this in the end, as well as our Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, who is one of the largest investors in one of the stable coins. And so if you actually track what's going on and you track these bills and you follow the money, you'll find out that it's a very small group of people who are going to be benefiting from this in a big way, including, by the way, the Trump family itself.
Yeah, it's a weird time to be living in where the president's family is putting out shit coins, you know. All right. Joel, to you. Is DeFi a threat to central banks' power over money?
Yes, I would say cryptocurrency as a whole is a threat to that. DeFi specifically is a threat over the centralized financial system as a whole, like smaller banks doing lending, for example, if you could do lending protocols, or earn yield from decentralized things as opposed to having to do an interest-bearing account somewhere where someone can let you not have your money back, etc. So the answer is basically yes, but with a little bit of a clarification.
Okay. Great. Zach, to you. Is decentralized finance the best hedge against centralized tyranny?
Absolutely. Brings back the power to people, give them the ability to actually control their own financial security. And I would go and to set like an example, have something like, let's talk about social media, for example, right? I use that as an example just for this. Den.social does exactly just that of what crypto could do in the blockchain today in the real world, where you're giving people back that freedom that you're missing in the centralized social media realm with the algorithms, where it's the whisper of the crowd. So when you combine that and use the blockchain and decentralized finance in the market, then you're automatically going to give back that individual freedom in that whisper of the crowd scenario.
Excellent answer. All right, Aaron, to you. Are regulators killing DeFi before it can grow?
They certainly are trying to do that, and the stablecoin legislation, the Genius Act, is one step towards that, and adding all of this surveillance and all of these reporting requirements for stablecoins is going to have a big impact. They're also trying to, in a different bill called the Stable Act, they're actually trying to ban algorithmic stablecoins, which are an important part of DeFi. So they certainly are going to do everything that they can, and understand that what is Congress? Congress's power is the power of the purse, and it's the power to be able to create money out of thin air based on debt from the people. And so anything that is perceived as a threat to that, they're going to do everything that they can to try to stop. And they've been doing a pretty effective job, to be honest.
Good to know. Joel, to you. Is requiring DeFi to register with the SEC a trap?
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Though if it is actually decentralized, you don't necessarily have to register, because you can just anonymously put something out there and anyone can use it. And maybe they get in trouble if they're caught using it. But if there's like a VPN, I mean, pirating movies is still not legal in the very slightest, yet people do it so much that, for example, the UFC's pay-per-view model is starting to go away because it's just so prevalent. So yes, it is a trap. Don't register. I'm not giving anyone legal advice here, but don't register. Use unregistered protocols, use things that can't be shut down, and you don't have to worry about any of that.
Great points. Zach, to you. Oh, actually, I must have cut it a question short, Zach. You got off the hook for that one.
I'll add to that last one with Joel.
Go for it.
Register. I mean, if it has anything to do with registering, it's probably not a good thing. So, and that's just all I wanted to add.
Okay, great. All right, enter the scores in the chat. If you want to add a score, now's the time to do so. Let's just jump into the chat while people are doing that. Joel got points for the buttery podcast voice. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Minus 100 to Zach for reminding me of the color palette of Schindler's List. 100 to Aaron for calling out the Antichrist and his reptilian friends. Tell us how you really feel, Mark. 100 to Joel for DeFi as a threat. 100 to Joel for evoking his best butthead. Are you threatening me? 100 to Zach for the excellent explanation. 100 to Aaron for peacocking with the shirt and glasses. Scientific keeps going back to your outfit here. I feel like he feels threatened.
I think he's in love.
Yeah.
I think, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. Kat's got 100 to Joel for not giving legal advice. So, all right, let me refresh the scoreboard here. And here we go. So far, Aaron is in the lead with 1,500 points, and real close behind him, Joel with 1,100 and Zach with 1,000. Aaron, how do you think it's going so far?
Looks like it's going great.
Unfair advantage due to props.
I agree.
Awesome.
Someone used the Samson option in the chat.
All right. Yeah, Zach just lost 100 because. So, all right. Let me.
Hey, at least I'm positive, KCS.
All right. Here's Zach's hidden question. I must have put the score in there early. All right, Zach. Are lawmakers trying to regulate what they don't understand?
Lawmakers probably don't understand it, but those behind the scenes, they do understand it. So, are they trying to regulate it because they don't understand it? Yes, because they don't read the bills. But are those behind the scenes that are actually making these bills, like the PayPal mafia, financial bureaucrats, and lobbyists? I mean, they know exactly what they're doing, and it's centralizing, just like what governments do.
We have a little added development here. So one of the things I didn't explain at the beginning, but returning anybody that's been on the show before has the option in the chat to nuke someone's score. And so Casey did that honor to Aaron here. So Aaron's score has been nuked. It will go down to 0. And so you are starting over from 0 again.
Exciting. Thanks.
So
Thank you for that.
He used
He's
his
just
fiat.
been debanked.
Yeah, he used his fiat to zero you out there with the nuclear option. All right, Aaron, to you. Time to build that score back up, Aaron. Should the government decide which cryptocurrencies are legal?
No, you shouldn't ask for permission or forgiveness in using cryptocurrencies. And there's the whole point of crypto is to not need third parties and to not need government. So I don't think it's the role of government, nor does government have the authority to even regulate crypto.
All right. Casey says blame Trump. So he's blaming Trump for you getting nuked. So, all right. Joel, to you. Should bureaucrats be allowed to ban privacy coins?
Should bureaucrats be allowed? No. So everything after that sentence, absolutely double, triple no.
That's fair. All right.
Zach,
to you.
Follow-up question.
Can over-regulation of crypto be used to crush political dissent, Zach?
Can over-regulation of crypto be used to crush political dissent? I mean, they can try, but I don't think they can completely crush dissent. I think they'll just create more dissent.
Okay.
That's it. That's my short, sweet answer.
Matt's back. Welcome back, Matt. Missed you, buddy. All right. Aaron, to you. Is DeFi the last financial system not being watched by the state?
Well, I think it's being watched by the state. It's clearly being watched by the state because you'll actually watch these members of Congress talk about it, not intelligently, but they do know what the terms are. So they are already targeting it. And actually, when you read these bills, they are specifically going after it. So I wouldn't say that it's unwatched. I would say it's being actively watched, and they are explicitly trying to do whatever they can to regulate it.
Okay, great. Joel, to you. Are governments building backdoors into DeFi platforms?
If it's actually a DeFi platform, it's kind of impossible because, first of all, doing so effectively would mean it wouldn't be a DeFi anymore. It wouldn't be decentralized. And also, the bedrock of everything is open source code, where anyone can audit the code base and see what can and cannot be done. So I would say kind of no on this one, unless you count things like things that are run, they're kind of decentralized in name only. Some protocols that are kind of actually companies that are just run as a blockchain instead, or on blockchains instead, that are actually controlled by the companies, and then the companies get compromised. That's a different story. But then again, I wouldn't consider that DeFi.
Okay, great. Zach, to you. Can DeFi survive the rise of total financial surveillance?
No, I mean, it's going to have to. And honestly, anytime that you have a rise of tyrannical forces in any capacity, history has told us you have a counter reaction to it. So agorism will always occur even when there's tyranny. So will DeFi continue to rise up in some capacity as surveillance expands? I think so, yeah.
Great. Aaron, to you. New category, DeFi and public trust. Is DeFi's energy usage just a cover to regulate it?
I mean, it depends on the type of DeFi. I mean, usually when you're talking about energy use, you're specifically talking about proof of work blockchains, but a lot of the projects in DeFi don't use proof of work. So, but that doesn't mean that politicians won't use it as a rationalization. But I don't think that's been one of the main areas at this point, that one of the main arcs that they've been trying to use. I mean, at this point, actually, you have Congress, but between AI data centers and everything else, people have now bought into the idea that, particularly with Bitcoin, it's a national security issue now that we need to use more energy. So it's kind of flipped on its head.
Interesting. I didn't know that. Joel, to you. Are rug pulls undermining DeFi's credibility? And you might want to say what a rug pull is too.
Yeah. So first off, the answer is yes. I would think a rug pull is basically when you create some DeFi system, sell a token, whatever else, and then you just basically steal everyone's money and go home. It's an exit scam. I do think it does undermine the credibility of the system. However, I think that if the systems find a way to successfully minimize rug pulls before there's any kind of regulation that would sort of do something about the problem, I think that is a big credibility booster. It's kind of like the clock is on, the race is on to fix this problem in a free market way before you have the government stepping in and just saying, look, we fixed it, even if it's not fixed.
Great. Zach, to you. Is trust in code better than trust in bankers?
Yes. Because do we really want to trust a banker? I could go into other reasons, but I'm just going to leave it like that because I don't want to say some things and some words.
All right. Sometimes less words is better. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh boy. All right. Aaron, to you. New category.
That was
DeFi and inflation hedging. Can tokenized assets protect buying power?
Can they protect buying power? Well, could you clarify that? So people buying tokenized assets.
Is it a good hedge against inflation, tokenized assets?
Sure. I think buying alternative assets, I think if you actually, again, we talked about how much the purchasing power of the dollar has decreased. So it's pretty foolish to hold dollars because dollars have been on a fast track, to zero. And so if you can buy other assets, and tokenized assets is just a way of buying other assets, then it is absolutely an inflation hedge.
Great. Joel, to you. Are governments afraid crypto exposes fiat fraud?
I would say largely yes. I think that they are afraid that the control over transacting is probably the bigger one, but definitely scarce inflation-resistant cryptos do expose a lot of that if they're actually used as a daily money. Unfortunately, today there's a lot of talk about using inflation to pump up the price of Bitcoin. And if governments have that, then they print money, spend it on things, and Bitcoin becomes more valuable. And then that's not a problem, supposedly. So that's a little bit of a nuance, that there's some shenanigans going on now that would sort of go against that a little bit, but definitely in most cases, yes.
Okay. Zach, to you. Is crypto the best hedge against inflation?
It depends on the crypto, honestly, and especially if it's not like, say, a shit coin. But for the better part, if it's been being used as a means of exchange or money rather, then yes, it can be a better hedge against the inflation of the dollar.
All right, let's jump into the chat again here, see what the scores are starting to look like here. 100 to Zach for calling out the Samson option. 100 to Zach for lawmakers not understanding. Minus 100 to Zach because of K. Chris says crypto is a form
Casey
of free
knows.
speech and did not come from the government. So what right do they have to regulate it? Great point, Chris. 100 to Joel for companies running on blockchain. 100 to Zach for the history lesson. 100 to Aaron for national energy is necessary. For the boomers, rug pull equals Enron. That's a great example.
Yep.
100 to Links for explaining rug pull. Minus 100 to Zach for not trusting bankers as a former banker.
Notice
Now-
former, though.
Yeah.
There is
Now you're
former.
in chat
There is
feeling.
former.
100 to Zach for less words. 100 to Aaron for diversifying. Minus 100 to Aaron for the Elton John sunglasses. It hadn't been a sunglasses comment in a while. Plus 100 to Joel for government's afraid of exposing fiat fraud. Matt thought fiat was a car. Yeah, so that tracks for you, Matt. All right. Let's see. Aaron, to you. Should stable coins be tied to commodities, not fiat?
Yes. I mean, the bigger issue is, we need to move away from pricing things in fiat, but most people are used to pricing things in fiat, and the dollar is the global reserve currency. But if one of the problems with the Genius Act is they're requiring stable coins to be backed by either U.S. treasuries or dollars, which means, to my earlier comment, when you use cash, you're funding the war machine. Well, now if you use stable coins that comply with the Genius Act and the legislation, you're also funding those things. So I prefer to use stable coins that are privacy based and that are backed by other assets, not the dollar, not the U.S. Not U.S. treasuries. In particular, I like one right now called Freedom Dollar and has the ticker symbol FUSD, which I love the ticker symbol as well. But yeah, anything that removes money and energy from the fiat system to me is a big win.
I agree. Joel, to you. Can DeFi protect savers in hyperinflationary economies?
I would say yes. Again, with the having a scarce crypto asset as the base of what you use, whether you use DeFi or not, is the biggest way you can kind of do that, the first step. But DeFi does allow you to hedge against various things, do all kinds of different things, as well as earn a bunch of yield that's not kind of subject to whatever small savings account you can get from like a bank account, for example, and can help really balance against that. So yes, the number one tool is an actual scarce crypto, but DeFi does allow you to do some cool things like that, all including take out loans against your cryptos that are denominated in something like a stable coin. So therefore you can go spend that while your collateral keeps going up versus fiat.
Very cool. I didn't know that. Zach, to you. Is printing money without limits pushing people to crypto?
I would say for some people, yes, but there's still not enough people that are awakened to understand crypto for what it could be. So I think there's a little bit of a balance, but anytime that you're creating money out of nothing and continuously doing it, devaluing that currency, you're going to push people into another option. So
Yeah, I think I saw that 15% of Americans own crypto at this point. So we got to get that number up much higher. Aaron, to you, new category, crypto wallet surveillance. Should the government be able to view your crypto balance?
No, they shouldn't be able to view your crypto balance, but they also shouldn't be able to view your current bank information, which they already can. So one of the things that I stress when, my wife and I go around and do workshops and everything else is explain to people that, look, based on the way that these agreements work with the banks are already sharing your information with the IRS. You already have NSA bulk data collection. You already have the Patriot Act and all of these other things. And so you already don't have financial privacy, and financial privacy is a natural right. And so it should apply to the existing system, and it absolutely should apply to crypto as well.
Great points. Joel, to you. Are exchanges acting as surveillance arms of the state?
Yes, absolutely, and by law. In fact, in Europe, the MiCA crypto markets law kind of mandates that you cannot have an anonymous custodial crypto account. So therefore, it has to be identified under a person, and you have to be able to see the source of all funds coming in. So therefore, you cannot use a fully private transaction in that context. So in that case, absolutely.
I think a ghost just entered your room.
Ghost being
me.
It was being like a server trying to bring me a drink, then maybe.
Drinks are allowed. Drinks are encouraged. We've actually had points given for how many drinks somebody had one time, but that got a little messy. Not gonna lie. All right. Let's see here, Zach, to you. Should self-custody be protected as a human right?
Should self-custody be protected as a human right? What exactly is a human right, honestly? But
a natural right, or
yeah. It all comes down to you, though. So I mean, that's a little iffy of a question. Should it be a right? Yes and no, but I will go ahead and say yes on the fact that you have the ability to have your own, to be protected in your own person, and that's effectively what you're doing. So yes, I mean, it should be a right in the standards of being able to protect yourself.
Okay, great. Let's do the chat real quick here. 100 to Zach for Cat no longer being a banker. I'm not sure how that transaction worked, but good for Zach.
I think he's given it to me, and then I'm
laundered.
giving it to Cat. Yeah, it was laundered.
It was laundering. But is laundering in our rules? We've never really established what any of those rules mean. Is laundering one of the rules?
No one knows.
I think it's
laundering
called-
means
Aaron.
in the government anyway.
I think it's just redistribution.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it seemed a little democratic there. 100 to Aaron for decoupling from fiat. 100 to Joel for educating us. 100 to Joel for talking over Cat's head. 100 for F the banks. 100 to Aaron for government. 100 to Zach for people not understanding crypto, which includes Cat. 100 to Aaron for financial privacy being a natural right. 100 to Joel for a ghost entering his room. That's what I said too. A ghost with a drink, apparently. 100 to Zach for what defines a human right. 100 to Zach for protecting oneself. All right, caught up there. And Aaron, back to you. We're talking about CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Can a CBDC be used to track every transaction you make?
Yes, a CBDC can be used to track every transaction. On top of that, a CBDC could be used to program money itself. So where you're restricted from how you can even spend the money, and that money can be tied to a social credit system into other metrics. And this also applies to stablecoins. But again, I want to reiterate that our existing financial transactions through the existing system are already tracked.
So not much difference there then. Joel, to you. Are CBDCs a backdoor to government control over your wallet?
This is going to be a rough one to answer. I would almost say no, because they're already there. Like I think that CBDCs have a lot, like maybe are like the next evolution of what we already have. Well, not me, what most people already have. Obviously, can make the surveillance a little bit less fragmented to where a central entity just sees everyone's balance and can program in who can spend and who can't, rather than going to, card manufacturers and saying, hey, don't let them spend Visa at a gun store, for example, and block those purchases, or go to like TD Bank and say, shut that guy's account down, he's a dissident, or whatever. It just makes it a little bit more smooth. But we're already there, so kind of I'd lean on the no side of that.
Okay, that's fair. Zach, to you. Should we resist replacing cash with a central digital currency?
I think more people should be using assets like privacy coins, say Zano, or P2P like Bitcoin Cash, rather than the cash. But we should definitely be resisting central bank digital currencies.
I agree. Aaron, to you. DeFi and stablecoins is the category. Are decentralized stablecoins the key to DeFi growth?
Decentralized stablecoins certainly make DeFi easier, and it's a critically important part of DeFi. I mean, one of the reasons people want stablecoins is to reduce volatility when doing transactions. And once again, for whatever reason, people still have fixated on the dollar as being that reserve. But I will say, moving forward, there needs to be an emphasis on people need to use algorithmic stablecoins that are private and not backed by fiat directly. To me, that's a critical component of this, because you don't want to be feeding the beast by using stablecoins that can be tracked and are actually helping to expand and fund government.
I agree. Joel, to you. Are stablecoins more stable than the US dollar?
No, because they're pegged to the US dollar. So they're actually less stable than the US dollar. In fact, one of the key banks that supplied the banking side of USDC, probably the most popular stablecoin in the US, they had some banking issues, and overnight the market price of USDC went to 80 cents on the dollar. And I actually know a friend of mine who's a crazy degen, meaning like a degenerate gambler kind of. He won, like, he earned something like $10,000 on the price going back up to that. He bought so much of this depegging stablecoin because he thought it would go back up, and it did. And so, yeah, they're less stable than the dollar, but they're at best they're exactly as stable as the dollar. But at worst, they could be a lot less stable. For the kids at home who don't have the rich crypto history, look up Terra Luna.
Giving out homework. Let's see how that works in the scores. All right. Zach, to you. Can stablecoins protect savings from inflation?
I'm going to say no, especially for what they're being used for now. And they're not as stable as they should be, considering they are pegged to the dollar. So just a resounding no.
Good point. Aaron, to you. Oh, we hit the scores now. All right. So jump in the scores, jump in the chat, enter the scores, and let's check a couple comments first. 100 to Aaron for the correct answer on CBDCs. 100 for instilling fear of tracking and programming our monies. 100 to Zach for resistance. Minus 100 to Zach for not saying cash is king. I think that was sarcasm. 100 to Joel for giving me homework. There we go. I knew that was going to come out, but you got points for it, so that's good. People like homework, apparently. So, all right, let's jump in. Let me refresh the scores here. We had a little flip-flop here. Joel has now jumped in the lead here, 1,800 points. Zach now at 1,500 points, and Aaron at 700 points. Joel, what do you think of that?
Well, as I am half Mexican, clearly affirmative action worked in my favor. And even though Aaron was the rightful number one, because he's white, he got bumped down to his rightful last place. So screw you, Aaron.
Thanks.
Wait a second. I thought I was white though. I thought I was the only white person here.
You're
Well.
certainly the whitest. I think it's that they couldn't see you, Zach. I think that's the problem.
That's
you
probably
blend in
it.
with the drywall behind you. All right. Well, Aaron got nuked too. I forgot about that. So Aaron got nuked.
Zach, affirmative action. I told you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So nuclear affirmative action. It's a new thing. So, all right. Let's see here. Aaron, back to you. Should stable coins be backed by gold, not dollars?
I think that's certainly one way of doing it, and I've actually been investigating creating a gold-backed stablecoin myself. But actually, stablecoin could be backed by any number of different assets. As I mentioned, Freedom Dollar is actually backed by Zano. You could back a stablecoin by gold, silver, other cryptocurrencies, a complete basket of different assets. But I think the important thing is you want to make sure that a stablecoin is not backed by dollars and not backed by treasuries. And gold would be a great option.
Excellent. Joel, to you. Should we trust a government-controlled
No.
stablecoin?
Should we trust the government? No. Stable coin of any kind, probably not so much of any kind, but definitely not a government. A government-controlled stablecoin literally is a CBDC, for my attitude at least.
Okay. Zach, to you. Are stablecoins a Trojan horse for digital surveillance?
Yes. Yes. They are a Trojan horse. They keep on marching in, and the technocrats are winning right now. So it's up to us to build an apparatus to counter them. Keep building.
I love it. All right. Aaron, to you. New category, DeFi and monetary policy. Can DeFi operate outside of central bank control?
Well, that's the only way DeFi should operate, and so certainly, the whole history of DeFi is born out of wanting to work outside of that system entirely. But again, right now there are threats, and as we discussed earlier, Congress is targeting DeFi, and they've been targeting DeFi for a couple of years now. This new Genius Act that passed is just the latest in a string of versions of this same legislation. So they're going after it. So the beauty of DeFi is that there's constant innovation, new technologies, new protocols, the addition of privacy. So it's an arms race, but it absolutely has to work outside of central banks.
All right. Joel, are interest rates set by algorithms better than those set by the Fed?
I would say yes. Again, I'm reading into the question more than it was explicitly stated, because that implies it's on systems that you can choose to use. Whereas there's the Fed. You can't choose a different Fed. You can't compete with the Fed. You can have other things. Whereas if you have a DeFi protocol, if you don't like, or the interest rate by a certain lending protocol gets automatically algorithmically set to a certain thing, you don't like it, you might be like, I'm going to start my own and have a better algo bot kind of do that. So, yeah.
My questions are very deep. You're supposed to read very deeply into them and be moved by their depth. So well done there. Zach, to you. Should monetary policy be decentralized entirely?
Absolutely. It should be dictated through the market and through the manner of what everybody in their means to their transactions and exchange are subjectively viewing their value. So if you like this crypto over this crypto, or you want to use gold or silver, it goes back to that analogy. So the market dictates in the monetary policy of the beholder, because value is subjective.
Great points. Aaron, to you. Should towns launch their own community tokens?
I mean, anybody can launch their own tokens. Again, I'm not a big fan of government involvement in any of these things. I mean, when you say community, are you talking about as a legal entity as a town, or just a community, meaning a voluntary group of people? I think a voluntary group of people issuing a token is a great idea. I think that once you get into the realm of government, it will end up going badly.
Yeah, I meant more voluntary group.
Voluntary, then definitely. What tokenization allows you to do is allows you to raise money, and it allows you to share resources and create a whole bunch of different financial incentives and financial structures. And so it's actually a big win for voluntary associations of all kinds.
Great. Joel, to you. Are cities embracing or resisting blockchain innovation? And again, we're talking about local economies and local finance.
Yeah. So that it's like saying, are people resisting or embracing burglary and theft? It's like, well, it depends on the person, really. So depends on the town and city exactly. I mean, I know, for example, Dubai is kind of on the more one of the leading edges of having no capital gains, et cetera, for cryptos. I know different towns have created and states have created regulatory sandboxes where basically they sort of suspend a lot of laws and regulations around crypto companies and experimentation under a certain level to, kind of like, as long as you're small, you can have big freedom. So yeah, there's a lot that are, but it's definitely not across the board. And especially where you do have the freedom to move your business or your own self, I think that we're going to have a great competitive effect where different cities and different jurisdictions will start to compete over being more favorable to attract blockchain related business.
That would be great. Zach, to you. Can blockchain replace local bureaucracies?
Absolutely. We have that right now, and how we can utilize with DAOs, smart contracts. So, I mean, the blockchain in itself effectively can make bureaucrats obsolete. So, yes, absolutely.
Can't wait for that to happen. Aaron, to you. Can small towns launch DeFi to escape state bureaucracy?
Well, I mean, I suppose it's possible, but I mean, again, once you're dealing with these government entities, based on how things are structured here right now, states are pretty beholden to the federal government, and local governments are beholden to the state. So there would be a way to do it, but I don't see how a political entity would be the best vehicle for it. Again, let's go to voluntary association, not political entities.
Okay. Joel, is crypto more reliable than banking when you're in a crisis zone?
Then banking 1000%. Now, the realist in me says then fiat currency in a crisis zone. That does depend a little bit more, because in crisis zones, sometimes paper cash that people understand is tied to the US government as something might be easier for someone in actual crisis than to be trying to download an app and syncing a node with the poor internet access, et cetera. So that's the big caveat. But as far as banking, I mean, banks are some of the first to, shut down in anytime things get a little spicy. In fact, I remember so one of the commenters on my channel is from whenever I mentioned central bank, and he said, yeah, our central bank just quit a few months ago. He's from Libya. And so they just people took over the central bank, and they just shut down. It was I think this year or last year. So yeah, there's a lot of people living without central banks that are still using crypto.
That's crazy. Zach, to you. Can DeFi help rebuild Main Street?
I would say yes, it could. Because, I mean, that's the whole point, is to decentralize away from the red tape of government regulators, bureaucrats, Washington, your state capital, dictating how you run your business. So I think DeFi is another option that businesses can use in order to dip their toes, get wet, and decentralize themselves away from bureaucratic red tape.
All right. That'd be great too. Let's just jump into the comments here. 100 to Aaron for gold. 100 to Joel for the quick no. 100 to Joel for not trusting the government. That'll be a popular answer forever on this show. 100 to Zach for stable coins being a Trojan horse. 100 to Zach for knowing what a Trojan horse is. Communities launched their own token barter system during the Great Depression. Make bartering great again. Minus 100 to Aaron. His name is Tolkien. Hey, Patty Boots is here. Welcome, Patty. 100 to Zach for saying smart contracts. 100 to Zach for giving the right answer. It's always encouraged.
I don't know what the right answer was, though.
Let's just go with it. Let's pretend one of them was right. 100 to Joel for understanding crisis zone challenges. All right. Aaron, back to you. DeFi and corporate takeover. Are tech giants entering DeFi to control it?
Well, I mean, tech giants are pushing a centralized crypto agenda. I mean, are they entering DeFi? I don't know that they're necessarily entering DeFi, but what they're doing is they're hijacking the existing systems centrally and trying to control those, and then trying to use regulation to block DeFi. And so that's a big part of what the Genius Act is all about, and that's a big part of what you see going behind the scenes. And so, pay close attention to what happens with X payments when Elon Musk launches X. Elon is the ultimate technocrat. He bought Twitter to turn it into WeChat, which is essentially the Chinese, everything app that is kind of tied into a social credit system. And he's about to launch X payments. So watch how that works.
Joel, to you. Can corporate crypto be worse than government money?
I would say you got to think about it a lot, but I would pretty much say no. There's very little that's worse than government money. If corporations control a centralized crypto-based thing, they're still limited by the amount of force and violence that they can use to then enforce their monopoly. And if there are multiple corporations as opposed to one state enshrined monopoly, then at least you have a competition between bad systems. So what we have kind of right now with the government controlling everything is one of the worst things we can have. So even something pretty bad might be a big improvement.
All right, that's fair. Zach, to you. Should private tokens be regulated like securities?
Resounding no. No regulation.
Okay. Aaron, to you. Is DeFi being re-centralized on purpose?
I don't know that DeFi is being re-centralized on purpose, but again, what I think you're seeing happen is that you're seeing the government basically hijack stable coins, and they're trying to the technocrats are trying to re-centralize the existing fiat system in a digital manner, using the legal system to take over popular things like stable coins.
Okay. Joel, to you. Should DeFi projects limit corporate token holding?
If DeFi projects can limit that, they're not DeFi.
Interesting. Good point. Do you think corporate involvement in, non-DeFi projects is a problem?
I think it's kind of inevitable that you will get big money into anything successful. So if it's successful enough, they will have it, and it will have some sort of an effect. I guess what you could make sure you do is build a robust enough system that maintains its permissionless aspects, even if you get big players getting involved.
Okay, great. Zach, to you. Is crypto being co-opted by the elites?
I don't know if it's being co-opted. I mean, it has certain crypto units, such as, say, Bitcoin, have been hijacked for to become, say, digital gold for the most part. Uh, sure, but has crypto actually been hijacked in general, been co-opted? I don't think it has because there's different projects in the fold, and there's going to always be different projects.
I just want to step in on that, but I would say, I mean,
Go.
Bitcoin is clearly the largest
Yeah.
crypto in terms of market cap, and I don't think people understand just the degree to which it was hijacked. I mean, it was hijacked by
Hmm.
this group out of MIT that received funding from Jeffrey Epstein, at the same MIT group that basically pushed the technical solidifying Bitcoin as digital gold instead of digital cash, also funded all 3 US CBDC pilots. And now we're in a situation where you have new people that have never heard of Bitcoin before, and they've only heard of this digital gold narrative. And now you have the US government using civil asset forfeiture, which is theft, to steal people's Bitcoins. And the next level of this is they're trying to create a Bitcoin strategic reserve where they're going to use taxation, which is theft, to acquire more Bitcoin. So overall, it's been co-opted in a pretty significant way, because the main messaging and what most normies have actually heard about with respect to Bitcoin is a completely different narrative than what the white paper and original intention was.
Thanks for jumping in on that. Yeah, I don't think people realize how badly Bitcoin's been hijacked. Let's do a couple comments while we're here. 100 to Joel for Zach. Go ahead.
Oh, I said I did not know that there's an Epstein connection. Yeah, there's always an Epstein connection.
There's an Epstein connection. I wrote an article about it. You can go to brownstone.org and check this out. It's actually been recirculating now. Epstein did an interview. There was an article about him in Decrypt magazine, and there's a pretty long quote from him from 2017 saying that Bitcoin is digital gold and not a medium of exchange. He actually said it with more words than that, but I find it very interesting that the only comment he ever made happened to be made just at the very time that the hijacking of Bitcoin occurred, and pushed by a group that he was funding.
Wild.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so comments. 100 to Joel, nothing worse than government money. 100 to Joel for corporate competition. 100 to Zach for no regulations. 100 to Aaron for explaining how the takeover is happening. 100 to Joel for the double negative. Points for double negative. All right, I'll allow it. 100 for defined co-opted, no based on different projects for Bitcoin. And 100 to Aaron for the history lesson on Bitcoin. All right, Aaron, back to you. Crypto and technocratic elites. Can crypto ever be protected from technocratic influence?
Well, I mean, certainly, if people don't understand what technocracy is a movement to create a global government where essentially scientists and engineers make decisions for people. It's essentially the end of free will, but you'll have a single digital currency, probably backed by energy credits. And this will be tied into kind of a Palantir-like AI surveillance system. So they're pushing for a system that is complete centralized control. They're certainly they don't want competition. Their model doesn't allow for other approaches to exist. So they're going to always try to influence it. But there are technologies and there are things that can be done to stop what they're doing. And that's what I've been focusing on, which is teaching people how to not only use privacy coins, but also how to tokenize other assets and to begin trading and replicating all aspects of the economy, the stock market and everything else outside of this technocratic centralized model.
I'm glad you added that. I was hoping you would go there. Joel, is the WEF's interest in crypto a red flag?
Red flag for crypto, meaning it speaks ill of crypto that they would attract that attention, or speaks ill of the WF that they are interested in crypto. I think that in general, the World Economic Forum is interested in world economic affairs, and therefore crypto fits the bill. And if they're an agent of control in this manner, they're going to go wherever there are things that are valuable to control. So I think it's more of an it is what it is kind of a thing, I think.
Okay. Zach, to you. Are centralized planners trying to co-opt decentralized technology?
Always, they always are, and it's a battle that's constantly going to be fought between centralization and decentralization. So, I mean, it comes down to agorism being the key. The agora is central and paramount towards how you live your life, and you just have to be well ready and willing to discover and create and help innovate and adapt towards changing market conditions, both within the centralized white market and behind the scenes in the gray and the black.
I agree. Aaron, to you. Categories crypto and black markets. Does banning crypto push people into black markets?
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, we've seen this globally. I mean, Bitcoin has been banned, I don't know how many times and in how many different countries, and that it usually tends to follow with an increase in use and an increase in adoption and for people seeking other alternatives. I actually think the U.S. is a little bit different, though. I think the U.S. has become a little bit more complacent. I actually think, people here are probably more likely to comply with a ban than they are in other places in the world. And I hope that changes. But certainly bans will push people towards black markets. I do think COVID opened people's eyes to a certain degree, as we talked about earlier, where small businesses saw what happened during COVID tyranny and were disproportionately affected. So, hopefully we're going to see voluntarily black or gray markets start to evolve, because that's using counter economics is actually how we're ultimately going to defeat the technocrats. We're not going to vote our way out. There's no way, this isn't going to happen at the ballot box. This is going to happen by creating alternatives outside of the system, and black and gray markets are a great way to do that.
Great. Joel, to you. Should freedom to trade outweigh government control?
Yeah, I mean, is this like a MSNBC type question? Like, duh, of course. Like, of course you should be able to trade freely, do whatever you want. And more importantly, if you do use decentralized technologies, no one has a say in whether you should have freedom or not. You just use it and they can't stop you.
In my defense, I don't have cable, so I don't know if they ask questions like that on MSNBC, but I'll take it.
Should you have some freedom? I mean, I think so. What about you, gentlemen?
I'll wear that one. All right. That's fair. Zach, to you. Can crypto reduce crime by increasing transparency?
Can crypto reduce crime by increasing transparency? I think the crime actually comes from trying to control mechanisms like crypto and keep it in the hands of centralized forces, which forces people into a criminal underworld. If you actually allow for more transparency and allow for people to choose within their different aspects of how they're going to use their crypto, you'll probably see less crime, because half of your crime anyway, more than half of your crime anyways, is nonviolent and doing no harm to anybody.
Very true. Aaron, to you. Category is crypto and foreign policy. Can using blockchain diplomacy reduce corruption?
How would you? What is blockchain diplomacy? That's an interesting phrase.
Well, using the blockchain to give aid and using it as opposed to just money disappearing from the central bank.
Oh, okay, sure. It would, but there's zero possibility that it would ever be implemented. This is something that people don't understand. And just as a quick history lesson, there are 134 countries right now working on CBDC projects representing 98% of global GDP. So, most of the world is working on CBDC projects. And when you look at the kinds of projects that they're implementing, I have yet to see a model where the government is applying transparency to itself. That's the last thing that governments want, is transparency. So in an ideal world, would it be great if all government transactions were on a blockchain? Yes. Will it ever happen? Absolutely not. It's against the self-interest of the elected officials, and they will do everything that they can to stop it.
I agree. Joel, to you, can crypto improve international trade?
Yeah, I mean, it's the ultimate tariff buster, isn't it? Right? Because you can trade with someone anywhere in the world and no one can necessarily stop it. I do know that obviously the crypto world is extremely international. It just helps that you can just tip a rando online with any currency and it works anywhere in the world. Definitely is kind of an interesting fact on that. The Dash community that I'm involved with, it's a lot of the development team, et cetera. A lot of the coders are were in the U.S. and over time, like about a third of the community ended up becoming kind of like Russia based. And of course, the U.S. and Russia are not on the best terms from government standpoint. But again, you can't stop anyone from using this tech. But like half of the people I interact with these days are Russian now, not because I decided to, but because just we're all using the same permissionless network. You can freely send and receive and engage with commerce with anyone like that. And you don't have to notice that there are borders. So if it's really decentralized, it is true borderless money.
It's interesting. Zach, to you. Are sanctions driving global crypto adoption?
I haven't really been looking further into this actually, but I would say certainly. I mean, anytime that you're being pulled away from one end, you're going to look for an alternative. So I would say yes, sanctions could be driving a certain adoption of crypto as well as other means of anything, such as say BRICS.
Okay, great. All right. Last time to enter scores. Please put your scores into the chat. And let's do a couple here. 100 to Aaron for explaining no competition for technocracy. 100 to Joel for saying agent of control is what it is. 100 to Zach for saying Agora out loud. 100 to Aaron for not solving these issues at the ballot box. 100 to Zach for not understanding crime and or minus 100 to Zach for not understanding crime and deviance. And then rando. All right. All right. I want to do one last thing here and try to leave this pretty open-ended. So this is our sudden death, our final round. And we have one question here, left it open-ended so you guys could talk about the future. And the question here is, what is one thing that would immediately improve the U.S.? So we'll start off with you, Aaron.
One thing that would improve the U.S. I guess I don't look at things in terms of improving nation states. I think one thing that would improve Americans who live in the United States would be to stop using the U.S. dollar and to start using alternative currencies, whether those alternative currencies are, I like privacy coins. I think privacy coins are necessary based on the surveillance, but you could also use gold backs, gold, silver, other alternative currencies. If you're not familiar with gold backs, here's an example. This is 1/1000th of an ounce of gold. So I look at it as the best way to improve life for Americans is to stop using fiat currency and stop using the dollar.
I like that phrasing better. So, Joel, to you, what would be one thing that could immediately improve the lives of Americans? Let's word it that way.
Yeah. So I would like copy paste Aaron's answer on the whole, that I think that if people can use decentralized, especially privacy preserving crypto, that would help. But as far as one thing that would kind of a micro thing, maybe we're talking about what would make it easier in the US, legally, if there was a capital gains exemption, whether it's a de minimis for smaller transactions or whether it's completely. I think that would be a big barrier to people using crypto kind of lifted, because technically if you're using a scarce crypto, anytime you make a purchase for a good or service, you're supposed to, according to the IRS, right, report the transaction and how much you made or lost over what you acquired that for. And it's a giant paperwork headache. A lot of people, even though there's tools that make this automatic, a lot of people won't even touch crypto because they don't want to deal with that. So making sure that that's gone for small purchases, I think would be 90% of the battle. Now, if you expand that to all capital gains, so even if you buy 20 grand worth of crypto and then it goes up to 50 grand and then you buy something with it that you don't have to pay capital gains on that, obviously that would be a lot better. But that's the small one is the first is like 80 to 90% of that for being a building block that would let more people who don't want to maybe risk either being afoul of the law or paperwork do what Aaron suggested.
Great. All right, Zach, to you.
I'm going to piggyback off of both of them, but I'm going to also add the main source is just to come down to earth and come back towards your community, because it comes down to your family, your family, and your community first before any sort of nation begins, any sort of large scale civilization, whatever you want to call it, begins. We need to think locally. We need to think more independent of larger structures, and we just need to use that as the concept of finding alternatives in everyday use, whether it's currency with crypto over the dollar or what have you, or whether it's just little things and divorcing from going to the grocery store and starting up co-ops and farmers markets over the grocery store chain or what have you.
I like that answer too. Definitely need to get going locally and build from the ground up, grassroots style. All right, let's check out the scores here. Ooh, it was a close one.
Ooh.
Joel with the win, 2,600 points. Zach, 2,300 points. And Aaron, after being nuked, you would have won, Aaron, but Casey took it away from you. Just the way that Casey would.
Now that I've won, you can get rid of DEI.
Where's my minus? Actually, that's supposed to be a minus, right?
So, all right, Aaron, third place. What did you think of the show?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great format, a good I mean, you definitely went through a lot of material, and so this is a great way to introduce a very complex topic in a number of useful bite-sized pieces. So thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it.
Anything you'd like to plug?
Sure. I'd like to plug, a number of things. You can go to daylightfreedom.org. Essentially what I am working on right now is in three areas, but it's the technocratic takeover, helping to raise awareness about the fact that there is a coordinated movement towards centralizing everything. And it essentially is the end of free will. And that the best way to fight this technocracy is to take back our free will and to start, you're either being programmed by some external force or you are consciously aware of what's going on and make your own decisions. So that's the key way out of this. And we can build a decentralized future. We can build based on tokenization. So whether it's privacy coins or tokenizing any asset and trading them anywhere in the world. And so those are the three areas that I'm focused on. And you can find all that at daylightfreedom.org. And I will say, we have to fight for our crypto political prisoners of war. So please visit freerogernow.org and sign that open letter. Visit freeian.org and sign his petition, and visit freeromanstorm.com and help him out as well. I think he's raising money for his legal fees. He's currently involved in a trial. And so we've got to protect our freedom fighters.
All right. It was great having you on. Zach, second place. Is this the highest you've ever finished, Zach?
It's probably the first time I've ever finished in the positive.
There you go. So plug your show and let us know when it's on.
Well, we are on every Monday and Wednesday at 5 p.m. for Legacy News. That's the Legacy Right on YouTube and Rumble. Every Monday, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. Every Friday, we are on at 11 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube and Rumble and X for the weekly Legacy. That ends up going to the podcast, and we run some specials too. And tomorrow we have, just like last Saturday evening, we had Free and Nick on for a special tomorrow at 10 a.m. To start your morning or end your morning, whatever you want to call it. Depends on if you're sleeping, Saturday sleep in. We're actually going to have Aaron on, actually. So that's pretty much about it. So hope.
It's a great show. I enjoyed being on. I enjoyed that Nick was an hour late, so I got to talk a little bit before he came on. So that helped me out a little bit. So, all
Hey,
right.
I'm just proud. I'm just proud he didn't show up drunk.
Yeah, that was good. All right, Joel, you're the big winner tonight. What did you think?
Oh, I thought it was fun. I mean, yeah, I it's kind of a hollow victory, as I mentioned before, because someone nuked the real winner. But I'll take it. I'm not going to give it back. It's like a government handout, even though I don't think it should exist. I'm still taking it. So, thanks very much for having me on. This is a good time. I linked an article on X, and I will maybe drop it on YouTube, that I wrote called "How to Privately Live on Crypto," and it's a good starter if you just want like a reference point of like how to think about starting to use crypto instead of fiat for your daily. Fiat is slave money, i.e. dollars, by the way, and not a car. So give that a shot, try it out, and if you can just start buying one thing with crypto regularly, not just you buy it one time, but like figure out how to pay your electricity bill, and then just that's it. Just that's a good foot under the door, and get used to it, and you realize it's not that intimidating once you get started. Who knows? Maybe within a year you could be living without slave money. Wouldn't that be nice?
And plug your show and anything else you'd like to plug.
Yeah, follow me on X at the Desert Links. My podcast is Digital Cash Network, and just follow me everywhere there. And yeah, I'll probably be on back sometime unless they get canceled for being an unworthy winner.
Let me add Terry back in here too. Terry, what did you think tonight?
You caught me on that one. I was way over somewhere else. Oh my gosh, my head is on fire. I have to run out and buy some crypto. I'm paying my power bill this month. I can't believe how much I learned tonight, man. You guys were great. Thanks so much for keeping it where we could understand it, because you guys are way ahead of the rest of the world on this.
Yeah,
Great job, gentlemen.
Feel free to hit us up at any point with any questions. I'm sure Aaron would be happy to answer as well.
Absolutely.
Oh, don't. I'll take you up on it because I love to learn. So great job, Zach. I'm so proud of you. You got above a plus. You got plus points. Oh gosh.
About time.
I know. I can't believe it. Great job, Free.
Way to twist the knife.
Yeah, Zach didn't have to go to summer school and he could stay indoors. So
There you go.
And I forgot to show your handle earlier. That's me and Terry. Terry's Bats T76 on Twitter. Make sure you follow her. She does a great job. And I am Freedom for Us for All. And I forgot to plug the shirts too. If you want the shirts that we make, Taxation is Theft, Satoshi for President. I'm wearing the Make Anarchy Great Again shirt right now. And you can get shirts and mugs, and we're putting some more stuff up there. So stop by freedomsuperstore.com if you're interested in any of that.
Do you take crypto?
We don't. I was actually talking to Aaron about it. I got to figure out how to do that.
I'll help you. Whoever gets it you first, it will get you set up. Then I'll buy a bunch of your stuff.
Yep, same.
Free, can I add something that you always forget? Ladies that are out there, they don't just have unisex shirts. They also have women's shirts that are cut for the ladies with the same stuff on it, and a lot of really great girl colors too.
Excellent. Thank you for doing that. And I just want to plug you guys one more time. Aaron is at Aaron R. Day on X, and he's got the freerogernow.org on there. And if you go through his account, you can find, we mentioned our political prisoners on every show. And, Aaron and Joel and Zach also do a lot of that as well. And, Roger Ver, Ian Freeman, Roman Storm, not a crypto one, but I like to point out Dexter Taylor, who's serving 10 years in New York for the ghost guns. There's a lot of political prisoners out there. And, we've shown with, getting out, why am I blanking on his name now? Ross Ulbricht. Sorry, Ross. It's late here on the East Coast. We showed with getting Ross Ulbricht out, that a little pressure signing these petitions is a big deal. So make sure you're doing that and letting them know that we are against imprisoning these people. They should be out there and making our economy great, not languishing away in jail or having to live offshore or any of these things. Let's free these folks. So follow Aaron there. Joel is at Desert Links on Twitter.
Desert Links. Just making sure I have some impersonators and make sure you don't get scammed. So it's
Desert Links. Reading's not my strong suit. So yeah, so that's why it's on the screen. So you can just
true.
On the screen. So yeah. So and then all of his links are there as well. And then there is Zach and his podcast, and he's at legacy_Zach. So make sure you follow all these folks. And once again, thank you for everybody in the chat. You guys make this so much fun. And thank you to you three for coming on tonight. I'm big fans of all three of you. So this was an honor for me. And I learned a lot preparing for this show, listening to all your stuff. Make sure you're checking out all their shows. I learned many, many things from each of their shows. And I learned a lot tonight. So really appreciate you guys doing this. And thanks to Terry for all she does and making this all happen and keeping score for us. So, but thank you, everybody, and good night.
Thank you. Good night.
There's the balloons. I always get the balloons.